بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. We'll continue with the Tafseer of Surah Al-Naba. Surah Al-Naba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after what we had mentioned and related in the first ayat, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addressing to the believer, and we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. They will come to know, and they will come to know. And then they will come to know, they are going to know. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have said, as they are asking about the Naba, some of them mocking, some of them wondering. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, you will see. Now, there is a reality that subhanallah, whatever a person wants to believe, that's their own belief. Whatever a person wants to believe, that's, their freedom to believe whatever they want to believe. اعملوا ما شئتم, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, do whatever you want. إِنَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ. He is subhanahu wa ta'ala watching all what you doing. However, the non-belief of people for certain things does not mean that it does not exist. Right? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. They will know. Because now you're denying that there will be a resurrection. You're denying of the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are the two things that the main people, what we have said, the people of Quraysh, they're denying. The same thing today in the society, most of the people in the world who do not believe her, they also have the same belief. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala draw the attention and directing the attention to the creation. قَالَ أَلَمْ نَجْعَلِ الْأَرْضَ مِهَادًا. Have we not smoothed or made the earth a resting place? Question. So this is a question, is not for us to answer but to reflect. How this earth was made a resting place? How? Look all around you in this space. If there's anything like the earth, for all what they've been digging, studying, exploring. وَالْجِبَالَ أَوْتَادًا, and made the mountain as stakes, pegs, pillars. Then this is the first, to look, and we have mentioned how the Quran, invite you to reflect without, forcing you or get you to outstretch your effort. It's like, you are on this earth. Just look around you. Then look at the mountains. Then an invitation to look within yourself. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. We created you in pairs. And this is, subhanAllah, what guaranteed the generation, the progeny, the succession, the creation of the family. And that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It has a lot of indication here. وَخَلَقْنَاكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. It was the creation of the male and female is as great, subhanAllah, as the creation of everything else. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the relation between male and the female to build and found a family. That's one of the oath and one of the great signs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will to be in this creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala matched it to the creation of the heaven and the earth, as Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Rum. To have male and female, to have different language, to have different colors, all of that, subhanAllah, are wonders and miracles. Who could have done this? If it was the nature, the randomness, then we will have the same color, we'll have the same language. And how can we even learn the language if it was the nature, Because the language is a way of communication. The language is the vehicle of the meaning. Who the one will be able to teach al-bayan, the way to express yourself? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ, created human being and He taught him the way to speak, the way to express. None of the animals around us will be able to do so. This is a grant from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and itself is a miracle. Look, the human being, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ. He gave us a parable, an example, just disputing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His oneness, in His creation. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال ونسي, he forget how He was created. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying around the same ayat, He was a nutfa, He was subhanallah a blood clot, a nutfa. Then He grew up and He evolved to become a human being, and then growing up to be khasimun mubin, disputing, clearly disputing. I mean, it just reflects on your creation. So this is all directed to the disbelievers. You're talking about something, you're denying the existence of the Day of Judgment. Before coming there, just look around you. How all these things happen. Then وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا, and we said that just reflect on our sleep. It's something, subhanAllah, is also a miracle. I mean, a person, you see them talking to you, maybe arguing, just you turn and you find them asleep already. That's, subhanAllah, how this person is like a small death. And it really is a death, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال هو الذي يتوفى الله يتوفى الأنفس في منامها التي في منامها التي قضى عليها الموت والتي في منامها ثم قال يرسل الأخرى إلى أجل مسمى. أو في الآيات Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take the souls during their sleep, and those who come to an end of their term, then He sent back. So here the one who's speaking, He's the creator. And again, we said we can just reflect, who will be able to say these words? Who can be able to say, and we made your sleep for rest. We made your sleep. If there's anyone, for example, a king or president, or someone who's like caring about you, or even your parents, you said, I made you sleep for you to rest. Nobody will dare saying such a thing. So this is all this ayat actually witnessing that the sayer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, and impossible that can be Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So that's the sleep. وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا, and made the night as a cover. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. So as we have said last time, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made the whole creation around you to serve you, to serve you. The night for you to sleep, and the day for you to be, seek for your livelihood, and so on. To work, to do, to plan, to build. And that, subhanAllah, is like the alternation of the day and the night is made for the human being. For the human being. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَسَخَّرَ لَكُمُ الشَّمْسَ, and He made subject to you the sun and the moon, and the day and the night. So those are from the gift of Allah. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on one side, have you to reflect on everything around you, to know that what you see, it has a hand behind it. It has ability, it has power, it has wisdom, it has knowledge. It's not something random. It's impossible to be random. You see, وَبَنَيْنَا فَوْقَكُمْ سَبْعَ شِدَادًا, and build above you 7 mighty heavens. وَجَعَلْنَا سِرَاجًا وَهَاجًا. This is the second hint about, reflecting on the creation around you, and place in them a shining lamp. وَأَنزَلْنَا مِنَ الْمُعْصِرَاتِ مَاءً ثَجَّاجًا, and send down from rain clouds pouring water. This is amazing. Now, scientifically, they are able to explain it, but the water that exists only on earth, and the way, subhanAllah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made out of the water everything living, and not only the water that will be bring or give life, there's other element that comes together, because some people, they say, even if you find on the planet water, it will be able to give life on itself. No. There's a lot of things. It's very organic. It's like how the whole weather and the whole things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put on this earth to all, subhanAllah, interact together to guarantee the life by the leave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the beginning of Surah Fussilat, Allah give us some of the details of the creation that is really, its wonder is amazing. But to see all of these are gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then producing by it grain and various plants. So all what you eat, all what things, all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this whole cycle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created for us to reflect, to know that what we are witnessing is the great, work of the Most High Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here يقول أحد المفسرين Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this universe has a creator, and behind it lies planning, predestination, coordination. So the succession of these truths and scenes in the Quranic passage, from the earth being a resting place, the mountains as stakes, the creation of people in pairs, the making of sleep as means for rest after movement and awareness, the night as covering for retreat, the day for livelihood and activity, the construction of the seven heavens, the blazing lamp which is the sun, and the pouring water from the clouds that brings forth the grain, vegetation and garden, all convey a precise harmony. They suggest planning and purpose, indicating a wise and powerful creator. Because when you just reflect, there is a purpose here. There is a planning. There is a design. You cannot see all these elements and say this is random. It must be a designer who designed them, who originated them, who guided them. So behind all of this, behind all this beautiful, amazing, precise, accurate harmony, there is a wise, knowledgeable, all-knowing, powerful creator subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these touches awaken the heart to reflect on the purpose behind life and its meaning. So I say, subhanAllah, all this in harmony, what is the purpose? Just to play? Just to have amusement? That's it? We die and that's it? So there is a reason, there is something, there is a purpose that connects everything all together. All this was for a life and a life and enjoyment, but beyond all these lies accountability and reward. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what he said, قال إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا. So it's like the continuation, كلا سيعلمون, you will come to know. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have you to have your mind, go on and subhanAllah explore all the universe and the things that inside you, to realize that these things cannot happen randomly, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the creation was not created aimlessly, with no aim, with no purpose. There is a purpose. All this harmony, all this creation, all the wisdom that you see laying, that you can, you see it into the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so on. So there is something which is قال يوم الفصل إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا. Indeed, the day of judgment is an appointed time. You believe in it or you don't believe in it, that's not, it's regardless, it's going to come. So the disbeliever, the one who denies the day of judgment or things. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you an introduction. Think, reflect around you, look within you, looking at the, subhanAllah, at the miracle of the sleep, looking at the miracle of the newborn, looking at the miracle of the things, how subhanAllah is around you. And you see it when calamity hit, subhanAllah, people are disturbed. People like all their life change. Everything will stop, like you see it today in the hurricanes. It does not happen every day. What if it happened every day? We cannot even live. But this is a reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ كَانَ مِيقَاتًا. The day of judgment is the appointed time. So everything is traveling to one, subhanAllah, appointing, term, أَلَا إِلَى اللَّهِ تَسِيرُ الْأُمُورُ. So it's becoming the most important element in the life of the believer is to think of this day. Everything is traveling. It's like you are in a travel, in a journey. You know, while you are, subhanAllah, traveling by car or train or plane, while you are in your journey, you're going to have read, talk, eat, but all your mind is at the destination. When you get to the destination, that's why the Prophet ﷺ قال كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب أو عابر سبيل. Be in this life like a stranger or someone عابر سبيل, like a traveler. And it truly is a traveler. Now, Jahannam wal-iyadhu billah is created and is there. It's the abode of the kuffar, which is mean that this believer today, he's taking his journey, he's traveling to where? To where? To his house, where wal-iyadhu billah in hellfire. That's the meaning of it. That's the meaning of it. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. So, inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. That people, they were not created in vain, and they will not be left without a purpose. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, أَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا. You think that we created you just for a play or for a jest? The one who planned their lives with such precision as reflected in the previous verses, and who harmonized their lives with the universe they live in, could not let them live aimlessly or die in neglect. Truly, subhanAllah, the more you think about it, from any perspective, you'll find a life without a day of judgment is absurd. It does not make any meaning. It does not have any sense. It does not. There is no single person who does not think of eternity. Why do we have the idea of eternity? Why? If you're not going to live eternity. There is no single person who, when they are, subhanAllah, dealt with injustice, they will think about retribution. They think about ultimate justice. People, subhanAllah, or transgressor, tyrants, who committing genocides. That's it. They kill them and it's gone. We'll die, turn into dust, and the end. It does not make any sense. What truly makes sense, and when you know about the Day of Judgment, you believe in the Day of Judgment, that's what is going to give you purpose in your life. That's what is going to give you meaning into your life. You know that Allah Maliki wa Maliki Yawm al-Din, He will bring everyone to judge them for what they have done. Therefore, the child who's been killed, back into Jahiliyyah time Quraysh, or the child who's being killed in Gaza, he will be asked, for what sin have you been killed? What have you done as a sin to be killed? And this question is the most terrifying question for those killers. Because the child, what sin has he done? But to be killed, this is the day. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. Indeed, the Day of Judgment is a fixed appointment. Is a fixed appointment. طيب, let's have an idea about this day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال يوم ينفخ في الصور يوم ينفخ في الصور فتأتون أفواجا. The first thing. So the sur is al-buq, is the horn. But who can imagine what the horn is? The hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Israfil, he's the one who has the assignment to blow into the horn in al-buq. The way that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam described him, he's like standing with the horn in his hand, a giant angel, and inclining his head toward where he believed that the sound is gonna, the order come to him, and to blow this horn. So the Prophet ﷺ told them, قَالَ كَيْفَ أَهْنَأُ وَصَاحِبُ الْقَرْنِ قَدْ الْتَقَمَ قَرْنَهُ. How can I feel joy? How can I feel at peace when the one in charge of the horn, he's already holding his horn? It can happen at any time. It can happen at any time. You cannot say, no, this is sign of death. Well, it can happen. It might be the horn of us is our death. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said that death might be closer to you than as close as your own laces of your shoes. That's how death is close. You never know. So subhanallah, in this situation, إِنَّ يَوْمَ الْفَصْلِ كَانَ مِيقَاتًا. All of us, we're going to be there. قَالَ يَوْمَ تَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا. You're going to come, subhanallah, in groups. أفواجا. You're going to come to the groups. قَالَ وَلَا نَعْلَمُ إِلَّا أَنَّهُ سَيُنْفَخُ فِيهِ. We don't know this horn. وَلَيْسَ لَنَا أَن نُشْغِلَ أَنفُسَنَا. We should not even think what is type, how it looks like. No. When it's going to sound the blast, everything. So there's three, blowing in the horn. فَقَالَ, there is the faza, there is the saq, and there's the ba'th. The first one, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Naml. قال يوم ينفخ في الصور ففزع من في السماوات ومن في الأرض. Ikhwani, this is, it's serious. I mean, it is. Can you imagine a sound, the blasting will be, shake the whole universe? I mean, any of you have experience with people, sometimes they have a big sound system. The higher the volume they put, everything, subhanAllah, will be shaking. So imagine such a thing like magnified to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, and it shake the whole universe. فَفَزِعَ, which is like a swoon that make everybody terrified. Everybody terrified. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. Then a time will, last after that, for what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, days or maybe years, Allahu A'lam. And then comes the second one. The second one, everyone will die, except whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will for them to not die. And this is in Surah Al-Zumar. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَفَزِعَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ اللَّهِ. Everyone will die, including all the angels, subhanallah. Everyone, except who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِلَّا مَنْ شَاءَ رَبُّكَ, except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from whom Allah will to stay alive after that big trumpet, blown, which is, subhanallah, in the swoon, everyone will die. When this has happened, the scholar, they're saying, the people who are be spared from this trumpet, the blowing of the trumpet or the horn, that everyone will die, are the people, or those created in paradise. The hur, the ghilman, those will be spared. Because when I call man fi samawati, everything, everyone, except whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will. And the scholar, they say, those Allah created them for paradise, they will be spared. But everyone else will die. And in the end of the surah, قَالَ يَوْمَ يَقُومُ الرُّوحُ. We'll see it. The day when Jibreel and the angel, they will be resurrected. Now, when everything, subhanallah, dies in the heaven and the earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call unto His creation and He will say, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. This is in Surah Ghafir. To whom this kingdom, to whom belongs this kingdom? Subhanallah, this is to help us reflect, whatever you have, whatever you own, is not yours. Whatever you own. You have a house, you have a car, it's not yours. Because there is only one owner, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you think about it. I mean, you don't even own your body parts. You don't own them. You don't own them. They'll be entrusted to you by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to live this life. When someone will be, those disbelievers will be dragged to hellfire, قال يوم تشهد عليهم سبحان الله جلودهم وأيديهم وأرجلهم. He's going to be witnessing their own skins and their own hands and their own legs. يوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم. The day when we put seal on their mouth, and their hands will be speaking, and the legs will be witnessing. Action of zina, wal-iyadhu billah, action of stealing, action of slaying, action of beating, everything will be. And they said, why are you witnessing against us? We are the same body. He said, no. It's Allah made us to speak. He's the one who created us. Therefore, actually your body, your limbs is entrusted to you. You don't even own them. So how can someone say, I own and I have? No, we don't have anything. We were reading in the ayah, قَالَ وَأَنْفِقُوا, and give from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you, the money that He made you to be a gerent on it, manager on the money that you have. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not yours. لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, to whom belong the whole kingdom today? Nobody will answer, because all these people, they are running behind power, killing for power, and trying, subhanAllah, to do all these atrocities to take more lands. You're going to die. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call unto all the creation, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ. Nobody will answer. A second time, a third time, and Allah will answer to Himself, say, لِلَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَارِ. This is akhwani, this is the reality. This is what is going to happen. قال إن يوم الفصل كان ميقاتا. For this fasl, when it happened, that قال يوم ينفخ في الصور, the day when it will be blown in the trumpet. قال يوم, in the day the trumpet will be blown, and you will all come forth in crowds. And there is, subhanAllah, a lot of ayat in the Quran that give us the way how we're going to come. So you're going to see like all the graves, subhanAllah, قال مبعثرة. It's like open, laid open, people running in all the direction. And it's not like something that we imagine, kind of a fiction or something like, subhanAllah, an imagination. No, it's a reality. Who's going to be running? You. You will know yourself. It's not another self, it's you. When you see your people, when you see, your mother, when you see your father, you know them. And that's when people, they'll be avoiding each other. The child will see his mother, he will be running away. Why? Even a good one, yes, he's a good one. Why? Because he will be ashamed if she asks her about some of her hasanat, because everybody is in need of currency, not dollars, not anymore. Good deeds. That's the best thing. That's the best thing to accumulate today. If you want to have a great account, if you want to be rich, the best thing to accumulate is the good deeds. Because that's the only currency is going to work in the Day of Judgment. Then you will be running away from your mother and from your father. Even the mother will say, don't you remember, I carried you in my womb for 9 months. I nursed you. I did. He said, yes, mother, but wallahi, if there is something that I can give you, I can, but not the good deeds. Today I need it. This is the Day of Judgment. يَوْمَ تَأْتُونَ أَفْوَاجًا, the way how people, they come into groups, and how people, they will be running all the direction, except, subhanAllah, the good ones. The good ones, They're going to be escorted by the angels. They're going to be escorted by the angel. Be taken. If you are from the categories who had made those deeds to be under the shade of the throne of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will be guided there. Because at that day, the sun will be as close as a mile away and will not burn anybody of us. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala given us, and He is the creator, He is the one who draw our attention and inviting us to reflect on the creation, the one who made everything to be, perfect. He the one also knows how it's going to end. He the one knows how it's going to end. So here, the one who planned their lives, etc., etc. Then he said, he will not allow them now. On the day, the system of the universe will be overturned, and the structure of its order will be unraveled. That's it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says here, we imagine the gathering trumpet blast, because the third one, the blowing in the trumpet, the third one, that's when everybody will be resurrected and coming forth to be meeting in crowds, and that is the resurrection. Yawm al-Jam'i, the day of the gathering. So, can you try to envision the scene? Generation of creatures, long buried, long gone, rise from their graves and come forth in waves. Subhanallah. It's something that no one have seen, and you could not even see it. I mean, this is the other life. You see this life here, you go sleep, you wake up, you eat, you do your daily activities, you rest, you go sleep. This is all is gone. In the next life, so remember we have two lives. And the third one is the reward. The first life is this test. The second life is the day of resurrection. The third life is either in paradise or the hellfire. Okay? So the day of resurrection, and of course we have between them the life of the grave. But here we're talking about this life. So, this is, subhanAllah, you're not going to be able to sleep. There's no sleep. You're going to be just waiting, standing, waiting for the judgment. It's really, subhanAllah, is really terrifying, it's really scary, but today we have the keys to save yourself from such agony, from such terrifying situation. You can save yourself. So imagine, subhanAllah, all these graves laid open, come forth in waves. This creature who once vacated the earth to make room for others, are now resurrected all at once, coming in masses. We imagine these scattered graves now giving rise to the living. It's not a movie, okay? It's reality. We imagine the vast crowds, so numerous that no one knows where they begin or end, creating an overwhelming scene of countless beings gathering together for the first time, all at once, at this precise moment. Inna yawm al-fasli kana miqata. قال وجمعناهم فلم نغادر منهم أحدا. We gathered them, we didn't miss anyone. No one is missed. When you read this ayah, do not delude yourself thinking that is happening to others. No, it's going to happen to you. You're going to be the first there, because you are a big conscience of yourself. You're going to be known that you are in this day of judgment. You're going to be known that you are are in this land of resurrection. You're going to be known that you are alive again. You're going to be known, you're going to feel it, you're going to, have conscious of it, you're going to perceive it, you're going to touch your skin. This is who you are. This is who you are. And then, but if we have done bad, it's going to be too late. What exactly this will happen, we don't know. But the whole universe, as we know it, will undergo tremendous upheavals and and destruction and cataclysm. And the sky, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is open and becomes gates. What it means? قال وفتحت السماء فكانت أبوابا وسيرت الجبال فكانت سرابا. Now imagine, subhanallah, this day where everything as you see it in place, stable, subhanallah, the sky once strong and firm will split open and turn into gates. It will crack open and reveal something unlike anything we have ever seen. As mentioned in other surahs in the Quran. The towering mountains that you see it once steady and fixed like pillars will be set into motion and turned into a mirage, subhanallah. It's like become sarab, it's gone. It's going to become like, subhanallah, dust. They will be crushed, flattened and scattered like dust blown away by the wind. This big mountain that you see around you is gone. Just as described elsewhere in the ayat of Allah, in the surah. They will cease to exist. Just as a mirage has no real substance, or perhaps the mountains will become like dust particles reflecting light, appearing like mirage. Now everything will be flat. There is no place where to hide. Because there is always that cunning of the people, the disbeliever. They will be still lying. They will be still swearing that they want to, present all the excuses and everything, and Allah already knows everything. But one of the very, subhanallah, shocking thing, the liar here, he's going to be a liar in the Day of Judgment. Still liars. The betrayer here is going to be still betrayer in hellfire, in the hereafter. Wal-iyadhu billah. Therefore, if you want to speak the truth, if you want to see what will be really making you joy and happy in that day, you have to work for it from today. It is a scene of awe, as the universe itself is overturned, just as an eye is aspiring at the resurrection after the blast of the trumpet. This is the Day of Judgment, decreed with wisdom and purpose. Then the passage moves beyond the blast to tell us, subhanallah, after describing this whole overturn of the universe, comes one scary, or the scariest thing in the whole existence. إن جهنم كانت مرصادا. إن جهنم كانت مرصادا. We will stop here, but just to give what the meaning. Indeed, hell has been lying in wait. Mirsadan is the one, subhanallah, who's like a guard and watching on a tower, for if there's any enemy. So the hellfire, wal-iyadhu billah, will be like that, waiting, mirsadan, trying to see anyone that is a disbeliever to grab it and throw it in hellfire. We'll see it inshallah next time, but the Jahannam is the only thing that everyone will see, In paradise, for the believer, they have to cross over bridges. That's the sirat. So he's very scared. Everyone is going to see hellfire. Everyone is going to cross hellfire. Are you going to come out? Are you going to make it? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Rabb, give us the guidance, the tawfiq to make it, Ya Rabb al-Alamin. I will stop here. Jazakumullah khair for your attention. And we'll start, insha'Allah ta'ala, with more meaning and insight on the meaning of Inna Jahannama kanat mirsada, insha'Allah ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan wa barakallahu feekum.